So good morning, guys, and welcome to today's series of our research classes. So today we basically continue from where we left off yesterday. Okay, for those that did not, attend yesterday's class, we looked at a few things. So we started looking at proposal writing. Okay, how do you write a research proposal? So we set the contents to be: firstly, you start with the title. Okay, then secondly, the abstract and the keywords, you state them. Then you go to introduction, you state the background of the study. Then you also state the problem statements. You state your aims and objectives. That's how we left it off yesterday. Okay, so we're continuing from the significance of study. Okay, so from stating your aims and from stating your objectives, you further need to understand that you need to state how significant this study that you are doing is to research. Okay, so why do you engage yourself in this? Okay, so the significance of study basically refers to the importance of this particular research that you're doing. You need to state so that the reader will have a clear mindset of why you're conducting this research. Okay, so the significance basically refers to the importance, the added value, the originality of something. Okay, so in you bring out the significance, you are actually trying to bring out something that has never been done before. Of course, you can pick a topic, or you can pick something that other people have done, or a topic that other people have been able to research and generate a lot of findings. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is for you to bring out something that is significant and something that has never been done before. Okay, so it does not mean that the question is new but never approaches. So it's the same. Okay, so you can have the same topic, you can have the same title to your research, but at the end of the day, the approaches that you use and other things that you use have to be central, should be able to generate new knowledge. Okay, then it should also lead to added value. Then the significance has to take account the principal M. So the significance of this study should actually, at the end of the day, be able to correlate with the aim of the study. Okay, so what you are doing in simple terms when you're stating the significance of the study is you're just trying to explain more on the importance of this study, why you're doing this study. Okay, then from you stating the significance of the study, you go to a literature review. So the literature review is a major component of the research. Okay, so it is an analysis of relevant publications that help set context for the definitions of your research topic. So the literature review is one of the most important components in your research proposal, in your research paper, because it is bringing out certain aspects that are very, very cardinal to your research, and it is going to help you to tabulate more and to understand more on why you're doing this research. So basically, why do you conduct a literature review? Why carry out a literature review? So firstly, to improve your understanding. Okay, then secondly, to build your expertise in this specific field that you have chosen. Then to demonstrate knowledge and to update the reader on the state of art. The state of art basically means the literature that is in existence. Okay, so what do you use? What kind of sources do you use in your literature review? So you use published works, then you also relate it to narrative. Kindly mute your microphone, those that have not muted their microphones. Okay, sure. Okay, so what are you reviewing in your literature? Okay, so you are basically reviewing the major concepts, snapshots, relationships, classifications, and extraction. Okay, so now this is the most important part, and you need to listen very, very attentively. The literature review is actually divided into two parts. We have the theoretical review and the empirical review. In the theoretical review, you're actually reviewing research papers, concepts, snapshots that have been done by other researchers. Okay, so your literature review should actually be tagged to your topic. For example, if I'm looking at the problem of abortion as a natural law crisis, my literature should actually be based on abortion and natural law crisis, meaning that I should dig deeper into other writings, okay, that have been done by other scholars on abortion and natural law, major research studies that have been done by other scholars. Now, at the end of the day, I'll need to bring in those concepts and those theories that have been done and present them in this paper. Because you have not yet conducted this research. You have not yet gone in the field to go and carry out this research. What you are doing in the literature review, firstly, in the theoretical aspect, is you're only stating theories that have been published, theories that have been done by other scholars, okay? No wonder why we're calling it the theoretical review. Theory comes from the word theory, okay? Theories, okay? Yeah. Then theories are generalizations that purport to give explanations to natural phenomena. For example, the law of supply and the law of demand. So these are theories that have been done. When you go back to maybe those that are doing economics, you go back and you understand that there are actually a lot of scholars, a lot of researchers that have written a lot about the problem of the law of supply and the law of demand in economics. So what you're doing is that you are getting those concepts from different scholars and try to compare them, put them together. Then at the end of the day, you come up with your own conclusion. Then the second part of the literature review is the empirical evidence. So what you are doing under the empirical evidence is that you're just having a reflection of research that has already been undertaken. So you're making an observation on certain topics, okay, and produce reports. So research findings in books, articles have to be revised. So when you're doing research, it is important to review the research that has already been undertaken. So what are some of the important things to note when you are doing your empirical review? Okay, so you need to challenge the previous research. So firstly, you state the theoretical review. You state those, you bring out those theories that have been done, okay, in relation to your topic, the topic that you're doing. Okay, then secondly, now you bring in empirical evidence, real life situations. Okay, fine, you have stated those theories. Okay, you've brought out those concepts. Okay, but what are you going to do at the end of the day in order for you to bring out something significant? Okay, so what you're going to do now is to challenge previous research. Okay, that that is, you need to be very articles. Okay, so for example, street vending, look at it critically. Was this research done properly? Okay, so apart from you bring out those concepts, you're now looking at it from the empirical point of view, empiricism, real life situations, hands-on, things that are happening in real life. These are just theories that have been written by. Is it true that these things are happening? So what you're doing as a researcher is that you're also now trying to, to tag along and try to relate those theories to real life situations. Okay, so you're now bringing out, and critically analyzing, okay, there was a discrepancy in this one. This one mentioned that actually the number of people that are doing this. This one mentioned this and this. But at the end of the day, what am I going to come up with? Okay, so empiricism now is coming in. You're also going to analyze the methodology. What methodology was used by this person who wrote this paper? Okay, is it methodologically sound? Okay, was it the right methodology to use? Okay, so you're looking at all those things. So always remember that when you're doing your literature review in any paper, you're looking at two concepts. The theoretical review, you're looking for the theoretical evidence, you're also looking for the empirical evidence. The theoretical evidence, you are bringing out theories that have been done based on your topic. Okay, and then the empirical evidence, you are actually challenging previous research, okay, and you're looking at it from a critical perspective where you try to link it up to real life situations. Okay. The next part is the methodology. So from a literature review, you go to your methodology. Okay. So in your methodology, you need to present how you approach your work. Okay. Then you need to show proportion of quantitative and qualitative analysis. You need to select a methodology that you will use in your study. And you need to show how you collect your data. You need to show your robustness. You need to show your limitations. Okay. If I may ask a question, for those that attended the first class, Miriam, Abigail, and others, can someone tell me the difference between research methods and research methodologies? For the sake of those that did not attend the first class, what is the difference between research methods and research methodologies? Wenzi. Anyone? Hello? All right, so without wasting much of time here, research methods are basically techniques, okay, that we use in conducting a research, okay? And then research methodology, or the methodological research, basically is it's just a systematic way of solving the research problem. So research methods, when we talk about research methods, we are looking at techniques and methods that are used in the conduction of research. Then research methodology is a systematic way of solving the research problem using those research methods, okay? So there is a difference, of course. So we're going to start with research methodologies. So under the research methodology in your work, we're going to look at all these, okay? So research methodologies in the field. One, analysis research. So these are methodologies that you use, the systematic way of solving a research problem. So you can only solve these problems using these, okay? These types of research methodology. So you have analysis research, development research, case study research, operational research, research by design, and everything. Then, apart from those research methodologies, you're also looking at research methods, okay, which are techniques that are used in the conduction of research. So you have something like context analysis, graphical analysis, statistical analysis, process analysis, data analysis, and those other things, okay? So what I'm doing is that if you, for example, in your work, okay, maybe you select a case study research as your research methodology in your research paper. You need to go to the research methods. Which research method can bring out, rich data when I go in the field? So you say, okay, what if I try data analysis? So among the research methodologies, I'm going to use case study research, okay? But the method I'm going to use in my case study research is data analysis. So what am I going to do? There now comes in a lot of methods that you can use, okay? For example, if you're doing a case study, you say, I'm doing a case study of Kawama district in terms of analyzing the re-entry policy in secondary schools. Then you say, okay, how am I going to conduct research? Okay, I'm going to use the questionnaire method. I'm going to come up with questionnaires. Then I'll go around secondary schools in Kawama district and then collect this data. So at the end of the day, when you collect that data, what method are you going to use to generate, that information? Okay, so you say, you know what, I'm going to use data analysis. What instrument are you going to use? Then you say, okay, fine, I'm going to use data. Okay, so all these are statistical instruments that you can use. Okay, so each of these has its own statistical instruments that you can use. Okay, graphical analysis, you use graphs. Okay, statistical analysis, you use statistical methods like SPSS. Okay, you also use data, of course. Data analysis, you can use data, you can use SPSS and other things. Meta-analysis, drawing, photography, and everything. Okay, so let me just give you an example of research methodology. Guys, are we together? Please, can someone confirm, are we together? Hello?
Yes, we are.
We're together.
All right.
Yes.
Are you able to see what is on the screen now?
I can't see anything.
Are you sure?
Okay, research methods. Yeah, I've seen something.
Okay, are you able to see a chapter 3 methodology? Are you able to see it? No?
Yes, I can. Wait.
You can see it?
Yes.
All right, so this is just a typical example of how you present a research methodology in your paper. This is a CBMS paper that I prepared, okay? So chapter 3 is your methodology. So as a researcher, it's okay, fine. In this chapter, the researcher describes the research design and methods that are going to be used in the study. So it further highlights the population, okay? You need to note this. In your research methodology, firstly, you're describing your research design, okay? And methods, the research methods that we talked about, okay? Data analysis and everything that are going to be used in the study. So it further highlights the population, okay? Sampling procedure, data analysis, the ethical considerations, and limitations of the study. And the limitations of the study, okay? So on this one, of course, we're trying to evaluate the education system in Mumbwa, okay, Mumbwa district. Okay, so this is what we're doing. So this is our methodology. So in order for us to effectively do this, firstly, we start with the boundaries of our ward. Which ward are we looking at? We're looking at this particular ward. So this is Mumbwa map, okay? Then we're looking at Nambala ward. Okay, so this is just showing the boundaries of your ward, okay? All this. So it shows the spread of the word and everything. Then this also shows, this is also showing the population of Nambala wards, okay, from the census that was taken in 2010. This is old data, okay? So if you read down here, it's saying according to 2010 census, Nambala ward had a total population of 5,833, but according to the 2020 population projection by the UN, okay, Nambala ward's total population stands at 12,453. So you need to be very accurate in the way that you present this data, okay? So yeah, are just maps. Then distribution of the identified institutions. So you discover that those that are doing CBMS, you will be able to conduct this research, especially those that are doing education, okay? So basically this one, we analyze 6 schools, okay, with 20 primary school and everything. So at the end of the day, you bring out the distribution of these schools in that part. Then we got our research designs. So we discover that the research design is actually a plan, structure, and strategy of investigation for answering the research question, okay? So therefore, this research will use the qualitative research. We looked at that, if you remember. Under this, a case study will be used, okay? So we're going to do a qualitative research design and under a case study as a methodology, if you remember what you're looking at, okay? So all this is applicable. So what you learn, you try to apply it. So a case study in this case has been chosen because the researchers intend to interact with the teachers and pupils in primary schools of Nambala to collect information, okay? Which is data, of course, there's a difference. Then from there, you look at the target population, okay? The sample size and sampling process, okay? So the survey will encompass a sample size of 50 respondents, which include 40 teachers and administrators, you know? Then you look at the research instruments that are going to use. So primary data analysis will be, primary data will be collected directly from the respondents' capture in the sample. So secondary data analysis will be collected from the maps. So primary data analysis, you go down the field. Primary data, that's how you collect it. You go down the field, you interact with people, you give them questionnaires, they do everything there. But secondary data will be collected using literature that has already been published, stuff that is already in existence, using maps, using, you know, journals, conference papers, okay? That is what I'm going to do. So then data processing and analysis. So in this study, what we use is that the collected data was analyzed in relation to the aims and the objectives of the study by the use of Microsoft Excel, one, to compare and contrast quantitatively and qualitatively both primary and secondary data. Okay, so we also use data. Then don't forget to also include the ethical issues for consideration in your research. You know, ethics is key. So be able to also include the ethics that you're going to use in research, such as confidentiality, informed consent, legality, and everything, okay? Integrity and other things. So I just wanted to give you an example of a methodology and how you can present it in your work, okay? Yeah, so from a methodology, you go to expected results. So basically, results are based on the literature. Okay, so what you need to understand is that before you even go in the field to collect the data, okay, by virtue of you bring out your literature review, the theories, okay, that have been done, okay, the empirical evidence, you should be able to have expected results, okay. Okay, so the expected results will actually be based on a literature review. Okay, they need to predict possible outcomes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that when you get certain theories and certain papers, certain findings that have been done by other scholars, okay, at the end of the day, you should be able to find gaps in that. And your findings should actually be based on the loopholes that are going to find in these other research papers and these other research findings that have been done. Okay, so your outcome will be based on your literature review. Then the outcome, okay, should actually be linked to the aims and the objectives. They need to explain what you will produce and why. Okay, so after going through all those concepts, all those theories, all those research findings that have been done by other scholars on the same research topic that you are doing, okay, you will need to explain what you will produce, how significant that will be to the body of knowledge. Okay, of course it has to be different from what other people have found. Okay, so at the end of the day, what you will need to do is that you need to state, okay, the possible outcomes of your research before even going the field, so that after collecting that data, after analyzing it, you will be able to compare. Okay, before I went in the field, I stated these to be my results. Okay, now after doing my analysis, are these still correlating? Okay, so you need to state the possible outcomes of your research, the possible results of your research, even before going the field. And this should be based on the literature review. Okay. Then under expected results, we also have validation. Your work should be validated. You need to describe how your work will be validated. Are you going to compare your results to other published results? Okay, just like I've earlier alluded to. Are you going to compare your results to other published results? That is a question that you need to answer. Okay. Then internal and external validity of your results. If this research is repeated by someone else, will they obtain the same results? Was your work accurate and systematic? This is a central question that you need to ask yourself throughout your research process. If this research that I'm conducted was repeated by my neighbor, are they going to obtain the same results, or are they going to find something different, or are they going to find something closer to my findings? Okay, is my work accurate and systematic? This is what, as a researcher, this is what you should look at when you're looking at your expected results. Okay, then in the end, you look at your bibliography and your references. It's a homework for you guys. Go and find out the difference between a bibliography and a reference. But at the end of the day, you need to include the books that you have used in your research. Okay, so at the end of the day, you will need to include the books that you have used in your particular research proposal. Okay, so find out on the difference between a bibliography and a reference. But at the end of the day, those books that you just consult, or those books that you just consulted for your research, should also be included. Okay, and those that you actually quoted from and everything. Okay. So this is just a sample and a basic outline for a research proposal. Of course, other lecturers and other supervisors are going to prescribe, are going to advise, maybe on a different outline other than this one. You need to be open-minded. And then there are certain components that are not included in this table of contents for this particular research proposal. Okay, for example, I haven't included the hypothesis, okay, which is supposed to be there. And other things, maybe others will tell you, you know what, you need to include the research questions and everything. So you need to be open-minded and be able to think outside the box, be able to include certain things that are missing from here when you actually do your research. Okay, so this is just a basic and a simple outline for a proposal. So to go through again, say firstly, you bring out a title, which has to be very accurate and which has to be on point. Then second, you bring out your abstract. You say the abstract should contain certain aspects, okay, such as you explain a little bit about your problem statement and the expected results together with the aims and the objectives. Then you give us the background of your study. After that, you now bring out and you state the problem that you're trying to tackle in this particular paper. Okay, then third, you bring out your aim. What is the aim of this research? Okay, then you state the objectives. Furthermore, you state the significance of the study. How important is it? Is it adding any value to already existing knowledge, or is it bringing out something new? Okay. Then you bring out a literature review, of which I mentioned that it has two components: the theoretical review and the empirical review. The theoretical review, you bring out theories and concepts that have been done by other researchers and other scholars. Then the empirical evidence, you just try to analyze these theories and these concepts critically and try to find a gap where you can fit in your work. And then from there, you do your methodology. Okay, then I mentioned that there's a difference between your research methodology and research methods. We mentioned that research methods are actually techniques that you use in the conduction of your research. And research methodologies, you're basically systematically solving a research problem. Okay, so you need to differentiate the two and be able to look at those. Then we mentioned that examples of research methodologies can be case study research reviews and other things. And then research methods can be, data analysis, spatial analysis, and all those things. Okay, then after that, you bring out the expected results. Okay, before you even go in the field, this is just, remember, this is just your intention to do a research. Okay, it is not the actual thing. You have not gone in the field. So under the expected results, like I earlier alluded to, you're just bridging the gap. After reading through the literature review, analyzing everything, the empirical evidence, you try to bridge up and, to just state what you expect, to obtain from the field. Okay, so you state your expected results. Then from there, you should ask yourself a very central question. Okay, I mentioned, okay, if someone else was to carry out this particular research, okay, would they be able to obtain the same findings like I have done? Okay, is this work accurate? Is this systematic? Those are the things that you should be asking yourself in the process of research. Okay, so your work should be validated. Okay, then the other thing is I also mentioned that you also need to include the bibliography and the references. Then I mentioned that you guys should find time to go through all this and just try to find the difference between a bibliography and the references. And then at the end, you do your budget. Okay, how much does it cost? Is it going to cost you maybe to, to photocopy and to print out those questionnaires? That's if you're going to use the questionnaire method. Okay, transport and everything. Okay, that is if you're doing a scholarly research. Okay, so yeah, this is the the basic outline. I'll surely share the notes and the recording for today for those that missed. Okay, so next in our session, tomorrow at 10, we're going to look at the second part. Okay, fine. You have written this proposal, you have prepared it, you have submitted it, it has been accepted. What next? Okay, how do you prepare a questionnaire? Okay, how do you prepare for those interviews? Okay, what methodologies do you use in that area? Okay, how do you prepare your discussion? After analyzing using Stata, using SPSS, using whatever, how do you present your findings? And I feel this is a part where most students and most other people out there have a challenge. We have a problem in the presentation of the findings, okay? But let me just give you just a little hint about it. Remember, I mentioned that your objectives are central to your research, okay? No wonder why your objectives have to be, have to correlate with your research questions, part of that. Then at the end of the day, the findings that are going to come up with have to give answers to those research questions that you set in the first place, or the objectives. For example, let's assess this and this and this. At the end of the day, you should be able to assess after coming up with the findings, okay? Then, to also mention something, in your literature review, make sure you look for work that is validated, work that is true, not just looking at any sites. Look for published major works, okay? Works that have been published in journal articles, conferences, and proceedings. Okay, so I think for today, I can end there. Unless if there are questions, for those that have questions, we have minimal time. You can still ping me on my WhatsApp. Okay, you can ask questions on my WhatsApp and yeah, my email and everything. Then I'll be able to share other things. So until then, we'll link up tomorrow at 10. So thank you so much. Unless they are pressing questions, I can open it up. We have 5 minutes to go. For those that want to ask something, your questions are welcome.
I don't think we have any questions.
No questions?
Yes.
Miss Balo.
But I think if we have questions, we'll send on WhatsApp.
Yeah, make sure you send questions so that at least you're cleared. Okay, so that at least we move on the same pace and we move on the same level, because we don't want to leave anyone behind. Okay, then whatever that I share, the notes that I share, find time to go through them and just understand them on that level. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
but
guys.
again, I was kind of late. So
Okay.
if you would like to send me the thing.
No, I'll surely share
the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I'll share the PowerPoint and the recording.
Okay, thanks.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. God bless you and God bless your hustles. Goodbye.
Thanks, Chisala.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Very much. Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. I'm ending the meeting now.